Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the sort of advice that I've sort of like heard people say and like you see online and stuff like this about cold approaching. I think a lot of it is really good. There's a lot of great stuff out there, but there are some things that are kind of platitudes, and what I mean by that is they sound great and like wholesome and whatever, but when you really get down to it, it's not actually. It doesn't really work, you know. And one of these things that I see on like cold approaching stuff quite a lot, that you probably heard of as well, is like this idea that you're never going to see this girl again, so you might as well go up and approach her. And the sentiment of this is like very compelling, you know. If you are in like a big city somewhere and you see a girl that you're interested in, you know, and you go over and talk to her, like, yeah, you know, you probably aren't going to see her again. You know, this big place, you know, it's very likely. But I think just for myself, like where I live at the moment, I live in Oxford, you know, which is actually quite a small town, you know, and I bump into people quite a lot, which is quite nice to be honest. But it means that like I slightly can't rely on that in the same way. I don't think, like, you know, if I see a girl in Oxford that I'm interested in, you know, I slightly think like, to be honest, like I might see her again. You know, like I said, it's a small place. I can't guarantee that. So I've got to rely on something deeper, something more profound, and I think this probably goes for a lot of other guys as well. Like, if you're at university, you know, social circles, like they're not that big. You know, I remember like living in sort of campuses and stuff. Like everyone kind of knows each other in some way. Like it is conceivable that if you're talking to a girl in university, like yeah, you might see her again. Like it's not impossible. And you know, at school, if you know like if you're talking to a girl at school, like yeah, you're definitely going to see her again. And it's just not a cover-all basis, basically, you know. And you know, maybe it's not meant to be, but I think that the point is that I think you need something a bit stronger to motivate you to go and like talk to the girl. And what goes through my head in this scenario is like, yeah, like I said, I think to myself like, yeah, I might see this girl again, you know, I might bump into her somewhere else, and if this is an awkward interaction with her, then that's going to be a negative experience, you know. But at the same time, you know, I'm 23. I've had like 2 relationships in my life, and they've been fairly short. And apart from that, I've not really had much of a very solid dating life. Like I've always been the kind of single person, really. I've never really been my dating life's never really been what it should be, you know. And I've got to do something about it, you know. And it doesn't matter if I'm going to see her again, you know. That this is more important, you know, than just some awkward interaction when I run into her again. You know, I need to be proactive in my dating life. I need to, you know, take action, do stuff. And that is so much more compelling than just the kind of, you know, doesn't matter, you're only going to see this one occasion. And, you know, it might be different for you. You might have your own reasons for cold approaching and whatever. But I think you want to tune into like what really motivates you to do it and stuff like that. And I'll probably do some more videos on this in the future. But that's kind of where it comes from me. Not kind of like just these kind of laissez-faire, very loose platitudes about it. So yeah, that's really all I've got to say about it, guys. I hope this is interesting and useful. As always, top link in the description. Would love to hear from you for some coaching. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.